The internet is jam-packed with misinformation about testosterone, and every influencer and his mom wants to make a buck. Fortunately, there are a number of strategies that are backed by science, they're completely natural, and they're 100% free, including, in some cases, doubling your testosterone levels. In this video, we're focusing on natural strategies. There are medical strategies like TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, for people who need it, for people who have indication. It works very powerfully, very effectively. We can talk about that some other day. Today we're going over completely natural solutions. This first strategy is extremely effective. It's completely free of charge, and it only has positive side effects. We're talking about losing fat. Losing excess fat mass can raise your testosterone by hundreds of points. They've seen this effect with bariatric surgery, with diet changes resulting in reducing calories and losing weight, body fat, and they've seen it with weight-reducing drugs as well. Basically, it's dose-dependent. The more chub you lose, the more your testosterone goes up, both the free testosterone and the bound testosterone. So the normal range of testosterone for men is between 300 and 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. That's the value given by most labs. In some people who have very low testosterone levels, like abnormally low, just the weight loss, just losing enough chub is enough to normalize, to bring those testosterone levels into the normal range if they're overweight enough or obese enough and they lose enough fat. There are different mechanisms. Losing fat improves insulin sensitivity, lowers inflammation, and also lowers the activity of an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen in the fat tissue. So less aromatase activity, less conversion, less breakdown of testosterone, higher levels of testosterone. To give you some specifics, with bariatric surgery, they often see an increase of testosterone of hundreds of points, sometimes 200, 300, 400 points. This is sometimes enough to normalize the levels of people who start out with very low testosterone. Now, with lifestyle changes, with diet changes, it depends based on how much fat people lose, but they often see 100 points, 150 points, even more if there's a lot of fat loss. So this can amount to a 20 to 30% increase in testosterone level for some people. Another aspect that is not discussed very often but affects testosterone pretty powerfully is sleep. In one study, just 1 week of sleeping 5 hours a night lowered testosterone by about 10 to 15%, or about 100 points. How many people do you know in our society who do this? Constantly sleep deprived. Most, right? It's a concern because testosterone plays key roles in muscle growth, but also bone strength, red blood cell production, sex drive, and energy in general. And testosterone already tends to drop with age. After age 30 or so, it drops by about 1% a year. So we don't want to help that decline with poor sleep. Good news, stopping the sleep deprivation in that study, going back to sleeping full nights, was enough to normalize testosterone levels again. They went back to baseline, the levels they were in these individuals before the week of sleep deprivation. Another practice that can help boost your testosterone levels is resistance training. So lifting weights in the gym, some exercise that challenges your muscles, especially big compound lifts that challenge big muscle groups. This effect is stronger in the acute phase. So right after lifting, we see an increase of about 15 to 30% in your testosterone levels. The chronic effect long-term is less consistent. Typically under 100 points and can be about 10 to 20% increase, especially in sedentary men. That's easier to see. Next, there are a couple of nutrients that can affect your testosterone levels. Vitamin D is one example. In people who have low values of vitamin D, who are vitamin D deficient, giving them a supplement can increase their testosterone by about 90 points. Again, this works if your vitamin D is low to begin with, correcting that, right? If it's completely normal, megadosing vitamin D is not going to magically get your testosterone to super physiological levels. Next, zinc. Similar story. Zinc is necessary for proper testosterone production. So if your levels are low, your testosterone production can be insufficient as well. In those people, correcting, supplementing zinc or giving people a good zinc source can boost testosterone levels by a lot, actually. In some studies, they see a doubling of testosterone levels when zinc is corrected. Again, this works if your zinc is low to begin with. If it's completely normal, there's no point killing yourself with massive doses of zinc. Similar for magnesium, if it's low, normalizing that can help your testosterone production as well. Adequate fat intake in the diet can be a factor. There's a number of studies showing that very low-fat diets Usually 20% of your calories or less coming from fat tends to lower your testosterone level compared to 40% or so. So for people who have problems with testosterone levels, switching from a very low fat diet to a moderate fat diet, so 15 or 20% to about 40 or so, can help boost your testosterone a bit, usually 10 to 15%. So it's a smaller effect compared to weight loss or some of the other things we talked about. And this is really the only effect of fat types that is well documented, that we have strong evidence for. There's an idea sometimes that you want to eat massive amounts of cholesterol. You want to eat 20 eggs a day because testosterone comes from cholesterol. So let's just cram as much cholesterol as possible so your body converts testosterone from that. Physiology does not work that way. There's no compelling evidence that the amount of cholesterol in the diet has any meaningful impact on the amount of testosterone that your body produces. And it doesn't even make sense because your body produces its own cholesterol. Glands that produce testosterone produce their own cholesterol. They can get some from the blood that come from other tissues too. So it doesn't even make sense physiologically to just cram 50 eggs a day to get testosterone. And the evidence doesn't back it up. There's also sometimes theories about specific superfoods, garlic or onions or oysters, that they're going to boost your testosterone. There's no compelling evidence of that. Now, some foods supply those nutrients that are important for testosterone production. We already talked about it: vitamin D, zinc, magnesium. So in someone who has low intake of those nutrients, correcting that, topping that up, yeah, can help. But otherwise, in a healthy individual on a balanced diet, there's no superfood that has been individually shown that you just cram that up and your testosterone goes through the roof. No compelling evidence of that. So in general, the best bet is to eat a balanced diet, low in ultra-processed foods, mainly because that supports a healthy body weight, as we talked about, low body fat, and also low levels of insulin resistance and inflammation, which all indirectly support testosterone production. Another thing to avoid is excess alcohol or opioids. So chronic intake of alcohol in large amounts, as well as opioids, can impair testicular function and lower testosterone production. And so cutting down can help a lot. And some people, it can normalize levels just by itself. This effect is mainly seen with large amounts of alcohol consistently. If it's a moderate amount once in a while, the effect is smaller or non-existent. For a lot more on vitamin D, check out this video, and I'll meet you in there. Bye-bye.